Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will enter the world crafted in Messenger by Lois Lowry. Messenger 2004 by Lois Lowry is the third book in her The Giver Quartet. Set in a utopian community called Village, the novel explores themes of sacrifice, transformation, and the interconnectedness of individuals. The protagonist, Matty, discovers his mysterious healing power as the community grapples with growing selfishness and the threat of closing its borders. A compelling tale, Messenger blends dystopian elements with profound moral questions about humanity and community. Plot summary. In the heart of a peaceful place known as Village, Matty lived with Seer, a blind man who could perceive truths unseen by others. Matty was no longer a boy but not yet a man, teetering on the edge of adulthood. He was restless, carrying messages across the forest, a vast and mysterious expanse that connected Village to the outside world. Known for its welcoming nature, Village was a sanctuary for the broken, the rejected, and the oppressed, a haven where wounds healed and lives began anew. But shadows had begun to creep into the harmony of Village. An unspoken change whispered through its lanes, quiet yet unsettling. Matty noticed it in the murmur of conversations, in the tense smiles of neighbors, and most disturbingly, in the atmosphere of the forest itself. Once benign and accommodating to Matty, forest was now twisting and thickening, growing hostile and dangerous. This strange malevolence mirrored the unsettling currents running through Village. The growing unease was epitomized by the reemergence of Trade Mart. Trade Mart was an ancient practice, once lighthearted, where villagers exchanged goods or services. But now, it had turned dark and mysterious, shrouded in secrecy. People whispered of trades that cost more than material possessions, of intangible losses that left participants changed, hollowed. Matty's friend Ramon's family had traded for a gaming machine, but the cost was a guarded secret. Even Mentor, the kindly schoolteacher who had always been a paragon of generosity, seemed altered. His signature birthmark faded, his hunched shoulders straightened, but along with these physical changes came an unfamiliar hardness in his demeanor. Amid this growing tension, a petition began to circulate to close Village's borders. For the first time, the welcoming spirit of the community faced an existential threat. Led, shockingly, by Mentor, the movement argued that resources were finite, that Village could no longer sustain an influx of new people. Matty struggled to reconcile this stance with the mentor he admired, the teacher who had once championed compassion and inclusion. Seer, too, felt the weight of the shift. Having come to Village after being cruelly blinded in his former home, he had always championed its open borders. For him, the loss of that openness was personal. Seer warned Matty against the allure of Trade Mart and the creeping selfishness it represented. Yet Matty, curious and determined, attended the next gathering, promising not to make a trade. What he witnessed there disturbed him deeply. People stood in solemn silence, offering up pieces of themselves, not objects, but traits, strengths, and virtues, for desires that seemed to bring only fleeting satisfaction. As Village teetered on the brink of change, Matty discovered his own secret. Hidden in the depths of the forest, he had stumbled upon an extraordinary ability, the power to heal. It began with a small frog, mangled and near death, which he unintentionally restored to life. Later, he revived a dying dog, an act that left him drained and trembling. He feared his power and the toll it took on his body, yet he could not ignore its potential. The day came when Leader, who governed Village with wisdom and kindness, called upon Matty for a final message. Leader, with his piercing blue eyes that saw beyond the ordinary, had also sensed the danger growing in the forest. He tasked Matty with venturing beyond the village to bring back Seer's daughter, Kira, before the borders closed. Kira, an artist with an extraordinary gift for weaving the future into her tapestries, had chosen to remain in her original village to help rebuild it. Now she needed to return. Matty journeyed into the forest, finding it darker and more treacherous than ever. The vines seemed alive, malevolent, reaching out to entangle him. The air grew thick with menace, and every step became a struggle. Yet, forest still allowed Matty passage, as if recognizing his purpose. He reached Kira, who agreed to come despite her reluctance to leave her work behind. Together, they began the perilous return journey. As they pressed forward, the forest's hostility grew. Kira stumbled, and Matty carried her when she faltered. Their path was blocked by thorny branches and suffocating foliage, yet Matty's determination did not waver. Leader, using his unique ability to see beyond distances, watched from village, guiding them in spirit even as he felt the forest's encroaching darkness. Matty knew the time had come to use his gift fully. Placing his hands on the ground, he called forth the power within him. It surged through his body, radiating outward, reaching every corner of the forest. The trees, the vines, the thorns, they all felt his touch. The darkness lifted, and the forest began to heal, its sinister grip loosening. In this act, Matty gave all of himself. His life force poured into the forest, mending its wounds and restoring its harmony. The villagers, sensing the transformation, gathered at the edge of the forest, where they found Matty and Kira. Leader cradled Matty's lifeless body, tears of gratitude and sorrow streaming down his face. Matty's sacrifice had saved them all. The borders of village remained open, and its people rediscovered the spirit of selflessness that had always defined their home. In the center of village, Seer wept for the boy who had been his family, while Kira wove a tapestry that would forever preserve Matty's legacy. His true name, they decided, would be Healer, a name that would remind them of the power of giving and the strength of the human spirit. This was just one chapter in the Giver series. If you want more, check out the rest of the series by Lois Lowry. Details are below or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Lois Lowry's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.